I'm Jessie Spano, and I'm so excited to bring you the stripped-out news brief for today's top stories. No sides, all facts. Let's dive in, shall we?
Welcome to the Stripped Out News Daily Podcast. Before we dive in, I wanted to let you know the Stripped Out News storefront is open and ready for business. If you want to support the project and get some premium gear, head over to strippedoutnews.com/merch. The vault is open. Saturday, June 20th, 2026. From Iran tensions, Obama Center debut, an MLB probe, and Cuba reforms. Let's go. Bolivia's President Paz has declared a state of emergency, a significant development in the country's ongoing challenges. This declaration comes after 50 consecutive days of widespread road blockades and civil unrest. These blockades have severely disrupted the national economy, impacting the movement of goods and services across the country. The executive action grants the government expanded powers to address the crisis. Crucially, the state of emergency paves the way for the potential deployment of military forces. This measure is intended to restore order and ensure the free flow of transportation and commerce. The government views this as a necessary step to stabilize the nation and mitigate further economic damage. The prolonged disruption had reached a point requiring decisive action from the executive branch. The immediate implication is an increased capacity for the government to intervene directly to end the blockades. This move aims to alleviate the economic strain and restore overall stability within Bolivia. The Obama Presidential Center is now open in Chicago, with Barack and Michelle Obama making a surprise appearance at the opening ceremony. The former president emphasized that the center isn't meant to be a traditional museum, but rather a living representation of America's ongoing story. Former President Joe Biden was also in attendance, though some noticed he seemed a bit confused at times, even asking about his granddaughter during the event. Notably absent was President Trump, who wasn't at the opening. Some observers picked up on what they thought might be subtle digs at the current administration in Obama's remarks, though nothing was said directly. The center's design breaks from traditional presidential libraries, aiming to be more of a community space than just a historical archive. Reactions have been mixed, with supporters praising its innovative approach, while critics question whether it's too political. Located on Chicago's South Side, the center is expected to bring significant economic benefits to the area. This opening comes at a politically charged time, just months before the 2026 midterm elections. The center will host various public programs and exhibitions moving forward, with organizers stressing its role in fostering civic dialogue. How it will shape Obama's legacy and influence future presidential centers remains to be seen. The Department of Justice has refused to formally declare President Trump's $1.776 billion anti-weaponization fund defunct, despite a court order requiring such a declaration. U.S. District Judge Leonie Brinkema issued a preliminary injunction on June 19th, directing top officials to file a statement under penalty of perjury affirming the fund would not proceed. The DOJ missed the deadline, citing serious separation of powers concerns and arguing that Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's congressional testimony earlier this month, in which he stated the fund is not going forward, period, is sufficient. The fund has been a contentious issue since its proposal, with critics questioning its oversight and supporters defending its necessity. Progressive voices argue the DOJ's refusal undermines judicial authority, while conservative perspectives suggest it protects executive branch prerogatives. The court may take further action to enforce its order, potentially escalating tensions between the judiciary and the executive branch. Legal experts note this case could set a precedent for disputes involving executive compliance with judicial mandates. The fund's future remains uncertain. Cuba has just made its biggest economic shift in over 6 decades, implementing sweeping free market reforms on June 20, 2026. These changes are the most significant since the 1959 revolution and aim to modernize the island's communist economy. The grandson of former President Raúl Castro recently emphasized the need for these reforms in an interview, stating that Cuba must move its economy forward. While specific details are still emerging, the reforms are expected to encourage private business, attract foreign investment, and reduce state control in key sectors. Observers have described this as a pivotal moment for Cuba, which has faced persistent economic challenges like shortages and reliance on imports. Supporters argue these changes are essential for addressing stagnation, while critics worry about increased inequality and the erosion of socialist principles. The success of these reforms will hinge on how they're implemented and managed. This move could also influence broader discussions about economic policy in other nations with similar systems. A migrant boat bound for Europe capsized off the coast of Libya earlier this month, leaving 51 people dead or missing. The incident happened on June 12th, according to a monitoring group that tracks migration in the region. 10 survivors were rescued, and 11 bodies have been recovered so far. The boat was overcrowded and sank in the Mediterranean, a route notorious for its dangers. Libya's eastern coast is a common departure point for migrants trying to reach southern Europe. Search efforts are still underway, but rough seas are complicating the operation. This tragedy highlights the ongoing crisis of irregular migration across the Mediterranean, where thousands risk their lives each year. The international community continues to grapple with how to balance humanitarian concerns with border security. Meanwhile, political reactions are split along familiar lines, with some calling for more rescue missions and others pushing for stricter enforcement. The White House hasn't weighed in yet, but the State Department is keeping tabs on the situation. This is just the latest in a long string of similar incidents, raising questions about what can be done to prevent future tragedies. The U.S. Army is making a significant upgrade to its M7 rifles. The service has ordered nearly 9,000 Dagger V1 laser systems to enhance its newest infantry weapon. Specifically, 8,936 of these laser systems have been acquired. Their primary purpose is to support the M7 rifle's fire control program, aiming to improve accuracy and operational effectiveness for soldiers. The Army is actively integrating these advanced laser systems onto its M7 rifle platforms. This move is part of a broader modernization effort for infantry equipment. The Dagger V1 lasers are considered cutting-edge technology, designed to provide enhanced targeting capabilities. This integration is expected to boost soldier lethality and precision engagement. It marks a notable step in updating standard infantry armaments. Visitors to the Acropolis in Athens can now observe the Parthenon's western side in a state not seen for approximately 220 years. Restorers recently completed a significant phase of work on the ancient temple. The project involved carefully slotting 2 new marble blocks into long empty gaps located high on the monument's western end. This particular facade is the initial view that greets visitors as they enter the historic site. The completed restoration was officially unveiled on Thursday, June 18, 2026. This effort contributes to the ongoing preservation of the Parthenon, aiming to restore elements of its original architectural integrity. The visual impact of this restoration is substantial, offering a more complete perspective of the iconic structure. It represents a notable achievement in the continuous dedication to maintaining one of the world's most significant ancient landmarks. Reports indicate that student academic scores in Arkansas have reportedly improved. This development follows a significant policy shift within the state's education system. Arkansas notably rejected diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, initiatives as part of this change. Instead, the state reportedly redirected its focus towards what it terms educational fundamentals. This re-emphasis on core subjects and skills is presented as a key factor in the reported academic gains. The specific details regarding which scores improved, by how much, or across which subjects have not been extensively elaborated. However, the reported outcome is being highlighted as a direct result of the state's revised educational strategy. This situation could potentially inform ongoing discussions in other states regarding the role of DEI and foundational learning in public education. A new state dashboard in Texas has documented nearly 16,000 misconduct reports concerning teachers. This initiative follows the implementation of a state law that allows independent school districts and open enrollment charter schools to be sued. The lawsuits can be brought against these entities if their employees are found to have committed sexual misconduct.
The dashboard centralizes these reports, offering a comprehensive overview of alleged incidents across the state's educational system. This new tool aims to increase transparency regarding teacher conduct and accountability within schools. The legislation's framework allows for direct accountability measures against school entities, meaning districts and charter schools can be held liable. This provision is intended to encourage stricter oversight and preventative actions by educational administrations. The development suggests a heightened focus on employee conduct within educational settings, potentially leading to revised policies or more rigorous vetting processes for educators. Canada has just slapped a 10% tariff on canned vegetable imports starting June 19th. This is a temporary move lasting up to 200 days, and it's all about protecting local farmers and food processors. The government calls it a safeguard measure after an investigation into trade diversion, basically whether a flood of imports is hurting domestic producers. The Department of Finance made the announcement, saying this is to help stabilize the market. Supporters say it's needed to save jobs and keep food production secure, but critics worry it could drive up grocery prices or spark trade fights. It's a classic trade policy move, allowed under global rules, but one that's always tricky to balance. The tariff applies to all canned veggies, no matter where they're from, and the government will keep an eye on how it plays out. With global trade in flux, this could be the first of more adjustments to come. Court officials in Texas have recently made public new evidence concerning a fatal stabbing incident. This evidence includes surveillance footage and images related to a confrontation that occurred at a Texas high school track meet. The footage reportedly shows Carmelo Anthony fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf. Following the incident, the individual identified in the video is seen fleeing the scene. This public release of materials comes as part of the ongoing legal process. Images of the knife allegedly used during the confrontation have also been released. The incident took place during a high school track meet. These materials are now part of the public record in the case. The release of this visual evidence provides a detailed account of the events. An early season storm has recently brought significant rainfall and severe conditions to the southern United States. In some areas, the storm delivered approximately 2 feet of rain, leading to widespread flooding. Tragically, this weather event has resulted in 3 confirmed fatalities across the affected regions. Louisiana and Mississippi were particularly hard hit by the storm's intensity. Additionally, Metro Atlanta and several other counties in Georgia have experienced considerable impact. Currently, wind advisories and flood watches remain active for these Georgia regions. The severe weather has also caused substantial infrastructure disruptions, with thousands of residents in Georgia presently without power. Authorities are continuing to monitor the situation as conditions evolve. The Department of Justice has officially launched a civil rights investigation into Major League Baseball. The significant action stems from allegations of religious discrimination, specifically targeting Christian players within the organization. Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon is involved in opening this federal probe. The investigation aims to scrutinize practices within the league that are alleged to discriminate based on religious beliefs. While specific incidents leading to these allegations are not yet detailed, the focus is clearly on the treatment of Christian athletes. This development is being highlighted as a crucial step in addressing concerns about religious freedom in professional sports. The inquiry will likely involve a thorough review of Major League Baseball's policies and conduct. Depending on the evidence gathered, potential outcomes could include policy recommendations or further legal steps.
I hear the horns, so it's time to bug out. I'm Jessie. I've been great, and those have been today's top stories, brought to you by Stripped Out News. Dive deeper on these and more at strippedoutnews.com. Go on, hit me up. Oh, wait, don't forget. Buy stuff. We're poor.